Hello there everyone, this is DinoSasha here, and welcome back to another review, and today we're going to take a look at the figure. It is the Papo 2016 Feathered Velociraptor. Now Velociraptor, which name means swift teaser or thief, is a genus of a dromaeosaur theropod dinosaur that lives in the late Cretaceous period, about 75 to 71 million years ago, what is known as Mongolia. Now, despite being named raptor, it is most considered that this is really approximately measured species. Now, Velociraptor's length is about 2 meters or 6.5 feet long and weighs over 90 kilograms or 200 pounds. Now, according to that, the Velociraptors have many varieties of their kind of species. Like the but the type species is the Velociraptor mongolensis, which is the only raptor that we have. There is also being described in Jurassic Park. It's portrayed as a scaly beast bigger than a grown man. But there's also a Velociraptor specimen that lives there. Now, it's considered to be rivals. The Velociraptor considered live with the only dromaeosaur that kills a much favored herbivore. Now, despite the fact Velociraptor may be considered relatives to a dromaeosaurid, and that is really right. But it's also a fight between the Proceratops and the Velociraptor, but it ended up being in a quicksand or in the tidal waves. They're carnivores who basically eat meat. Now, let's start about the sculpt of this figure. Now, this figure looks a bit nice. I think it's considered to be a very decent figure. This is like the retirement figure that we have. This dromaeosaurid. I mean, there is a new colored dromaeosaurid, which is a Papo 2020 Velociraptor, but if I guess this is really considered a figure to look like. Yeah, I don't remember this raptor really much about it, because this is a unique one of the most. And yeah, I think this is a really designing looking raptor, but I think it's a really cool of it to show what these raptors are capable of. And yes, this is a really good sculpting, I must say. This is a really nice figure. Now, the pose is attempt to be a stalking pose if it's someone stalk for their prey. And yeah, I mentioned before that because this is a really concern of a raptor, but I have digressed with this dromaeosaur for some times, but I believe it. This is really nice. So, basically, what do you think of the pose? Well, that's really okay with it, but I like the details because they were feathered details. Yeah, so the feathers on that, it kind of resemble of birds. Now, we talk about the color scheme sometimes, but the color scheme on the neck, on the shoulders, and the bottom of the legs were green, and the all around side of the body were red, and has the feathers, which is black and white on the tip of its tail, and brown, gray, and black feathers all over its body, and especially orange and yellow ones, and especially the beige colors with the black claws and toenails, and yes, toe cloth especially. And what you know about that, let's talk about the head on this figure. Now, this figure on this head, it looks a bit like, and also has articulated jaw. Yeah, I have responded that this has an articulated jaw, and I believe this is one of the most raptors have the articulated jaw. But they can open wide if you need it. But there's a my figure of a problem. And yeah, if you open it wider, this is considered to be a problem with it. But if you know that this is a really nice of a dromaeosaur figure, then yeah, I think it's considered to be a raptor with a problem with its mouth. And yes, you may consider that this mouth is open widely. And yes, to consider that this Velociraptor is a bit of an accurate thing. Yeah. And yeah, I believe that this dromaeosaur has a animations, like its mouth. Yeah, believe it or not, this is really nice, though. Now, let's talk about the accuracy, because this accuracy on the Velociraptor looks a bit of like scientifically accurate raptor. Because of that, it looks like a big Utah raptor who stand out for the hunting. And yeah, I believe it or not, I'm compared to this ruler for sometimes, and I believe it's one of the few raptors with few sizes. Now, let's talk about the length. We're gonna bring up the ruler, so let's give this a measure for length. The length is about only slightly in length. It's about 7 inches, and which is only at about
approximately 17 centimeters, and a height, which is the top on the tail, we're looking at about, sometimes, okay, this is 4.5 inches, and which is only at about 11.5 centimeters.
Well, for another comparison, we're gonna bring up some Velociraptor figures that I have with it. Here is with the other Velociraptor figures for right now. Here is with a Carnegie Velociraptor from 2015, and Mattel Blue the Velociraptor, which is the only raptor that I have of Jurassic World. We got the Schleich Velociraptor, which is a really consistent with, and the Papo knockoff Velociraptor. Believe it or not, this raptor is in fact it look like a Papo version. But however, this one has feathers, but this one is a knockoff. But I hope that I get the real one. And yeah, for the rating on this raptor, well, I'll give it as sometimes I will give it. And you know what I'm give? 9.5 out of 10. Which is a really nice figure for me. And I believe most people reviewed it, and especially that Spino dude, who is a really nice guy for sometimes. Likes to review all the time. And I believe it or not that this raptor is in fact a member of our family. So that's when I happens to this. Its name is actually named Utahraptor because of its huge size. And yes, this is considered to be the figure that I loved, with its large mouth opening, and I believe it. This is really nice of this figure. But yeah, also I forgot to mention the tongue painted great. And yes, to believe in this, the figure is in fact a really nice one. Yeah, and now I have to return to your raptors for this sometimes, but I think there's other raptors so we can compare it. So we're gonna return every raptors in the entire collection, like the Schleich Velociraptor for sure. And yes, both of the raptors are really the same ways, with the knockoff Papo Raptor and Blue from Jurassic World, which is from Fallen Kingdom, and being as a cameo of the Jurassic World Dominion, which is the movie that was released. And yep, I'm bringing none other than the Carnegie Velociraptor. The Raptors on the Loose, which is the most famous of all the Dromaeosaurid trilogy. And yes, believe it or not, this is really like a family reunion, but in Velociraptors. And I will do another Carnotaurus, because this one is my favorite dinosaur. Well, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Hit the like, subscribe to my channel, and click the bell for notifications so you'll never miss the video. Leave a comment below, and I hope you see for another review about the Safari Ltd 2019 Carnotaurus. Goodbye everyone, and see you all next time.